Welcome back. I'm wearing a basketball jersey because I'm going to talk about Utah, and it's a news of the day video for all you fine people on the internet. It is now June the 5th. We're almost through the first month of June already, and of course, the hockey is back on Saturday, so it's almost a week without hockey. But Utah making some news today, announcing that they've exceeded 34,000 season ticket deposits. So there's not enough seats to seat everybody in that. So you end up with a wait list, or you end up with people going with half season, quarter season tickets, that kind of thing, and you go from there. But they're not having a problem selling tickets at all, which, I mean, it's their first year. So you expect that enthusiasm to be there, and then you see whether or not it's going to stay. It stayed pretty enthusiastic in Vegas. The other most recent, and I mean, there's expansion in Seattle. It's still really, really well attended in Seattle, and of course, the Jets moved from Atlanta. We saw a dip in their attendance over the last bit here, but we understand there's various reasons for that. Utah's doing well, though. And what's interesting with Utah's numbers is 92% of those deposits are from non-season ticket holders of the Utah Jazz. So they're not season ticket holders with Utah, the team that wears this jersey here. I reserve the right to wear this in a street hockey game, too, this summer. But 60% of these season ticket deposits also came from people who did not attend an event at Delta Center over the last year. Now, this arena is not built for hockey. It is built for basketball, meaning there are obstructed view seats. And so those seats are starting at $19 a piece. And you know what? Honestly, for $20 to sit down and watch an NHL game, even if it's an obstructed view where you don't see the whole ice surface, I mean, it's $20 to sit down and watch a hockey game, even if you're not seeing the whole ice surface. I think that's not bad. But they are doing extensive renovations to the Delta Center to make it so that there are much fewer of those obstructed view seats. And of course, the plan is there's a brand new arena that they're going to put up. The government's already okayed the funding. The money's already there. It's just a matter of when the new arena is going to open. But the fact that this building is going to be full, about 16,000 people that they're looking at selling per game for NHL hockey, that's pretty good. So all the best to Utah as they continue to go through this process of getting their team all set up. But it definitely looks like the enthusiasm's there on the grassroots level, and that's the important thing. As long as the city and the market are excited, then it should work. Vancouver expanding the Sedin's role within the team as coaches. They'll be focusing, it looks like, on Abbotsford, which is great. The Abbotsford Canucks, and I've seen some complaints that they haven't developed very many players for the NHL, but Juleson and Di Giuseppe, to me, stand out as two guys who their time in Abbotsford has helped them become pretty darn good Vancouver Canucks as well. And so, yeah, getting the Sedins more involved with the day-to-day, more involved with the young guys coming up in the organization could be huge. There are definitely some good young players in Abbotsford. Ratu stands out to me as one that maybe could really benefit from some one-on-one time with either the Sedin twins. And the expectation seems to be that eventually one or the other or both Sedin twins will have a very prominent role within the organization. Meaning that maybe at some point one of them becomes assistant GM, or maybe they both become assistant GM for Patrick Alvin. But it's good. The Sedins, obviously very supremely talented players when they played. They're still in pretty good shape as well, and I like the idea of them helping out with the kids on the farm. So Anaheim, a team that's bringing in a bunch of kids, got a bunch of kids on the roster already, and they're going to draft some more. They're listening to offers on Trevor Zegras and John Gibson. Not a surprise. Both of these names have been talked about a lot in trade rumors. I do think that at times Zegras gets overrated a little bit. I also think at times that maybe trading him now is not the best of ideas, just because I don't think his value will be as high right now as it could be in, say, like this November. If he has a really good start to the season, you might have a higher asking price. The thing is, of course, right now teams would have the cap space. By July the 2nd, they'll have none. So, yeah, Trevor Zegras, will we see him leaving the Anaheim Ducks anytime he gets mentioned? A lot of people jump on it. I seem to see Montreal fans jump on that rumor a lot online. I don't know if those rumors are being fed by somebody else or if it's just somebody at some point said, hey, Montreal would be great with Zegras, and it's just stayed that way. But I haven't seen anything directly linking the Ducks and the Habs at this point. But Gibson, I think, is the more likely to go of the two. I think that, after last summer and then how this season played out, I think it just makes sense to move Gibson. Dostal looks like he's ready. And Anaheim's got some decent depth in the net. You can always go out and pick up a backup goaltender if need be. Stolarz could very well be available. He's had a pretty good year in Florida. And so if Florida doesn't keep him around in July, you could see Stolarz maybe going back to Anaheim. But yeah, Gibson, I think, could get them a good return. He's 30 years of age. You want to make sure that you get him dealt while he still has that market value. And while he played through this season and I never heard a complaint from him, my guess is he's going to want a chance to win. He's going to want a chance to play for a team that's going to get some playoff games. And in all likelihood, Anaheim's at least another year away from that. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. AHL playoff news. Tomorrow we're going to see Game 4 in both series. And both series could end. Both Coachella Valley and Hershey are ahead 3-0 in their series as they continue to just steamroll their way through the playoffs. Hershey beating Cleveland 6-2. Coachella Valley beating Milwaukee 5-2. And so it looks like it's just a matter of whether or not they both round out their series tomorrow or not. And so it's going to be, in all likelihood, Hershey, which is, of course, the Capitals affiliate, and Coachella Valley, the Kraken affiliate, who met in the final last year as well. Hershey won that final. It was a very hard-fought 7-game series. We'll see if Hershey can win again this year or if Coachella Valley gets their revenge on Hershey. And of course, I'm still potentially going to be reviewing AHL games in the final once we get there. It's going to be a matter of when they're scheduled to happen because, of course, if there's a crossover in terms of time between the AHL final, the Calder Cup, and the NHL final, the Stanley Cup, I'm obviously going to be watching the Stanley Cup game, and so that's where it gets a little tricky. Last year, the AHL final went on for about a week after the Stanley Cup was decided, so we'll see what happens this year. I really do enjoy watching AHL games, though. I would recommend AHL TV. I think it's $30 for the rest of the playoffs. I'm talking US. I think it's well worth the $30 to watch AHL hockey and see how these prospects do. You'd get to watch the final games in these series and then the final as well. It's a pretty good deal. And so that's what I ended up doing last year, for instance. So, yeah, I honestly, I would recommend it, especially if you're one who just wants to watch hockey and you don't like all the constant advertising. And if you want something that feels like a throwback, AHL hockey really reminds me of listening to hockey games on the radio back in the 80s. Just the way that the audio's done, just the way that everything's done, it feels very, I don't know, feels kind of like home to me, but that's because I'm really old. So that's how that works. So there you go. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you've been watching the AHL playoffs, Coachella Valley or Hershey, who's going to get it? Jimmy Vesey. So he was injured in Game 2 against the Panthers, and it's come out that he suffered a separated shoulder. So that's why he was week to week. The good news being a separated shoulder shouldn't be a problem, I would think, for him to be healthy come training camp. He was just seen as week to week as well, so that's normally a 2 to 4 week recovery when they say week to week. But it's too bad for Vesey. Not that I think having Vesey in the lineup means the Rangers would have won the series, but it's tough, and that's part of that war of attrition in the playoffs. Very often the teams that are playing each other in the Stanley Cup final are the ones that have not dealt with the major injuries and losing key guys up front in net on the blue line. There's some good fortune there, and there's just the fact that some of these teams just physically battle so well. The other team gets beat up while they come out not unscathed, but in a little bit better shape than the team they just beat. But let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you've not done so already. And yeah, I figured I might as well wear a Utah Jazz jersey because Utah's at the top of the board. As you can see, I've got various Utah magnets at this point. As we wait for the team name, I want to throw out there were kids in attendance at this basically all the fans showing up at Delta Center who are going to be season ticket holders or hoping to be season ticket holders for Utah, and the kids were all chanting for the Utah Yetis. So the Yetis, I think, will be the name. I know people don't like it. I know there's plenty of people who don't like it, but little kids love it. There are plenty of people who do like it and think it's good marketing, and so I do think that's the team name they're going to end up with. But we'll see. Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.